Well, I haven't done one of these for a while. It's time to do one. If you've been watching my other videos, you know that my kitchen was a mess. And yeah, I wasn't going to do a cooking video while the kitchen was a big a mess as what it was. So I have everything cleaned up, obviously. But hey, let's see what happens when we pan fry, a pretty good piece of, I think they call them minute steaks. Fairways, I think it's ground round. It's good stuff. It's the right package here. Oh, that feels better. Yeah, there's my minute steaks. So I'm cooking in cast iron, right? Well, one of the secrets to cooking in cast iron is to get your cast hot before you start adding food to it. So, with that in mind, we're going to let that warm up. And I'm going to get one of my cedar boards here. We're going to lay these minute steaks out on it. And go from there. How much of that can you see? Not quite all of it. Let's move that over just a little bit. I actually like this old stove. I've got another one out in the yard that this one replaced. That I need to do some rewiring on so the oven will work without sending arcs. But it's been out in the yard long enough, it may not be able to resurrect that one anyway. But we'll find out. So what I try to do is I try to get my seasonings onto the steak here before I put the steak in the pan. And maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but it usually turns out pretty good. And so what I got here is something I typically use for that. It says kicking chicken, but it's not bad stuff. It's a salt spice mix, a little bit of pepper. Oh, that wasn't the kicking chicken. Okay, hang on. We'll get the kicking chicken on. That was the cookies. It's flavor enhancer, which is good stuff. So what I do is I put the cookies on one side and the kicking chicken on the other one. Two different suppliers, by the way. And both of them are pretty good. Now, what I'm actually supposed to be doing here is I actually should have got this meat out about an hour ago, let it warm up to room temperature. I did not do that this time. However, people who like their steaks rare to medium, you really need to do that with. I cook mine to medium well. And so it's not as big an issue for me as what it is for other people, because it's in the pan longer when I do it than what other people who know what they're doing do it. But this works for me. This is the way I like them. And away we go. I might have to check on something else here too. Okay. So I've got the chicken on there, or the commercial spice rack on there, and then yeah, everybody loves me when I do this. the nice thing about being single and a bachelor. See, this is all bachelor cooking. I do this. I don't have anybody to cook for. So I don't cook for anybody else. I cook for me. I cook what I enjoy and eat my own mistakes. And that happens occasionally too. Now, what I did here at the very beginning was I've got this raised bar. It's a Wagner pan. I like it. Got a little bit of heat in it and then sprayed some coconut oil into it. Coconut has a little higher smoke point than what some of the other oils do, including olive oil. And to be honest with you, I'm not fond of meat being cooked in olive oil. What I do tend to do is I save my bacon grease. And it's not unusual at all for me to use bacon grease instead of coconut oil. Oh yeah, that's beginning to liven up a little bit. Let's see just how live it is. I'd say that's getting pretty alive. And again, it had oil, and so I just dropped a couple drops of water in on top of it. And that should do it. Now, the coconut oil is in there to keep the meat from sticking to the ribs, okay? So I put this in here, and then I do go ahead and salt it. I usually use Himalayan pink salt, or sometimes I'll use a butter salt. Let's see, I'll put garlic powder on that side. Dare I put onion powder on this side? I may put a little bit of onion powder on this side. If I can get my onion powder loosened up here to where it'll shake. Told you it'd been a while since I've been cooking. Okay, that should shake some onion powder. Use this side. Here's a little bit of onion powder. A little bit of onion powder. A little bit of butter powder. Oh, that's enough butter powder. I'll spread that out a little bit. Yeah, it won't be too bad then. Okay. I still have not salted that yet, have I? Started for salt and got involved with other stuff. We'll get some salt on there here. Got the water off behind me. Now those are going to fry. Well, let's do the Himalayan pink salt tonight. I've got, I think I've got some kosher salt around here that sometimes I use. Sometimes I just use regular, typical table salt. I try not to use table salt an awful lot. However, I do use it a couple every once in a while. Just because if I try to do low-cal, you need to get a little bit of iodine. You don't get iodine, a lot of iodine in meat. And so, yeah, doing a little bit of iodine that way is not bad at all. That looks good, doesn't it? Smells good. I'm going to let that cook for a little bit, and I'll bring you back when I get ready to flip. Okay, I'm not quite to the flip it stage yet here, But I am at the place where I need to put a lid over this a little bit, let this steam moisten up the experience here. So let's put a lid on there for about a minute and see what happens here. Okay, that's about a minute with the lid on it. That should have moistened the top of that up quite a bit. Oh yeah, it did. And I'm even gonna, now with that being a rib pan, you don't want to press down too hard on it at that point. I'm not sure I'm gonna need that lid anymore, but let's see what we get. Now, I'm not ready to flip this yet. I try to cook my meat with a one flip method. And so in order to do that, you gotta let the juices of meat work back up through the deal. Steaming those spices into the meat a little bit that way is definitely a good thing to do. So, well, I think we're a ways from being ready to flip, so I'm going to shut that off. Okay, we're still not quite ready to flip it, but I'm getting my cheese ready to put on there. Now, it'll be a couple steps here before we start putting cheese on it, but yeah. But you see how moist this is all getting? We're not far from being ready to flip those. That's interesting. My cheese is not coming apart. I am still recording. I'm not sure how to get this cheese apart, but it's not, okay, this is Sargento cheese, but it's not the cheese's fault. Because to be honest with you, I let this cheese get up to room temperature before I even opened the package. I actually let that happen a couple days ago, then refrigerated it. And so, yeah, it's not the cheese's fault. This is operator error. I figured I'd just a full disclosure there and take you through the whole process, let you see everything, so that just in case you were seeing the deal and come up with a bad opinion of this cheese, don't do that, because this is actually very good cheese. I usually don't have any problem with the Sargento cheese at all. This is being a pain, but that's okay. When you mess it up, you should expect it to be a pain, I guess. Well, it's 2 slices, and the third one did exactly the same thing. Split off. Well, the nice thing about it is I'm occupied with the cheese, and so I'm not fretting too much about the burgers. They'll come along here pretty quickly too. Okay, well, let's do one more slice of cheese, because I'm going to put 2 slices of cheese on each. I like cheese. Okay. I see that is just about the point where it's time to flip it. Get this taken care of, and then we'll tend to that. Okay. Put this whole thing back in the fridge. There's nothing wrong with the cheese, okay? Still completely edible. Just going to be a little bit inconvenient because I messed up. Actually, like this. Okay. So, with that in mind then, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, it's time to flip these. Get a nice sear on them. I'm hoping you can hear that over that exhaust fan. I realized I need to turn that exhaust fan on. But yeah, we'll let that cook out just a little bit. Show you how I do. Okay, let's cook on this side now about 1.5 minutes. That's far enough. It's time to shut. It's time to shut the fire off. I had that just over halfway, and that's good. So I've got the fire turned off. I've only put those one time. And I'm going to let it cool down here for a little bit. And we're going to flip it back over. Now again, the fire is off. See how you got juices that's beginning to escape? Now is when I put the cheese on. And again, these are just coming back to resting. As we go here. And you pretty well, I have found that putting cheese on a burger works a whole lot better if you have the burger cooked before you put the cheese on and let it melt in as the burger is coming back to resting. Now what I may do here, in fact I think probably what I will do go ahead and put that steam lid back on there. That'll hasten the melting of the cheese. I don't particularly care to do that, but the cheese needs a little bit of help. And while that's doing that, out here. They say that if you know how to cook, you don't need Heinz 57. But I like Heinz 57 sauce. Okay, I'm going to shut this fan off. That'll make things easier for both of us. Yeah, I like 57 sauce, and so I'm not afraid to use it. And the other thing I like is I like horseradish sauce. And I usually save my horseradish for, oh, like my stew meats and of course roast beef, that kind of thing. But it's been a while since I've had it, so I think I'll run here. This should actually be pretty spicy with all the kicking chicken and the cookies, the pepper jack cheese, now the horseradish sauce. Yeah, these should have quite the flavor to them. There's my plate with my sauces. Oh, let me see here. Clear off this end of my workspace. Yeah, that cheese is melted very, very nicely here now. Oh. Yep. Let's put those on a plate. There it is. Put that on a plate. And this is the problem with a red pan. Now you gotta, no matter how well you have your pan seasoned, this is always an issue. That's why I don't usually use a red pan. Usually if I want steak marks, I usually put it out on the grill. But, oh, away we go. That looks good to me. So I'll get a knife and a fork. And I'll let you listen to me as I talk about being too spicy now, which I probably won't do. I have found out that it's not the heat of the peppers that bother me. There's something in the membranes that hold the seeds to the pepper. There's something in that membrane that works on me pretty much the same way the pecan shell works on most people. You know how when you bite down on a pecan shell, it sets your whole mouth off? Well, I kind of get the same thing happen with that particular pepper deal. And away we go. Let's see how this works. Simple, simple, simple meal. But it should be good. Father, thank you. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the accomplishments of the day. Give me strength to continue to work and do the things I need to do. Pray now you bless this food. Amen. You, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh yeah, I could eat this. Yeah, this will work. A little bit of Gatorade, lots of hamburger, and hey, I'm going to enjoy that. Tastes Good. Well, thanks for watching. I haven't done one of these for a long time. I may start doing them again. Glad you came along. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back again sometime. Thanks for watching. Bye. And yep, I ate the whole thing.